This is Ginny McGee at the e-learning division, and with me today is Rose DiNardo, who is the assistant director of the e-learning division. And we are going to be going over the new process for submitting your grades through Canvas. So as you are no doubt aware, WebAdvisor is no longer being used at Camden County College. So you will now be submitting your grades through Canvas. And so we're going to go through the process of how that is done. As always, we do recommend using either Chrome, Edge, or Firefox when using Canvas. But if you get an error message, a session expired error when using Chrome to submit your grades, try switching to Edge or Firefox. It's something that doesn't happen very often, but if it does, we will usually be able to fix the problem by suggesting trying a different browser. So when you are ready to submit grades for a course, you're going to go ahead and click on the course, and then you're going to find the Submit Grades tab over on the left-hand side of your screen. It should be toward the bottom of the left-hand navigation menu. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And up at the top, you're going to see two tabs. One is for midterm grades and one is for final grades. So you're going to want to make sure that you are in the correct tab for the type of grades that you are submitting. For this semester, obviously midterm grades have already been submitted, so you don't need to worry about that for spring 2021. This midterm submission will begin being submitted through Canvas for the summer and beyond. But I am going to go over that since it is something that you will need, although not for this semester. So with our midterm grades, you can see here we've got all of the students' names here in your column, and you've got the students' current scores, and then over here you've got your midterm grade column. As you are aware, midterm grades are attendance grades. So only grades of SA, NA, and XA are going to be accepted by the system. Now, you'll notice that this is pre-filled for me with letter grades. These are here because I have associated a grading scheme with this course, and so it automatically fills this in, which is possibly helpful when you're submitting final grades, but not so much with midterm grades because we're not using these types of letter grades when you do submit midterm grades. So you would just need to come in and give the XA, NA, or SA grade for each student, and then click Submit. After you submit midterm grades and final grades, we always suggest that you go over to self-service, click on that, and make sure that those grades have been sent over. And I'll show you where you'll access self-service in just a minute. So now I'm going to click on my Final Grades tab. And again, you've got your students' names and their current grades here. Now, just a note about the grades in this current grade column. This is just showing you what grade is currently in the total grades column in the Canvas gradebook for each student. So you are not obligated to give Stephanie Charles a C because it says a C here. This is really just for you to refer to as you go through. So if you'll notice here that this is not rounding up, even though she's got a 79.63, this is not rounding up automatically, and it won't. So I would need to come in here. If I wanted to give this student a B, I would need to come in and give her a B manually. So just if you do have a grading scheme, again, you'll see these pre-filled, but make sure that you go through and check and make sure that each grade is the grade that you want to give that student. You'll notice over here that there is an expire date column, and this is only going to be used if you have a student who has an incomplete. If you have a student with an incomplete, you will give that student an I. And then over here is where you will put your expire date in, and that is the date by which the student has to have all of the work turned in for this course. Another important thing about final grades is that a lot of different departments at the college have their own grading schemes that they use. Just make sure that you know what your department's grading scheme is. If you don't have a D in your department's grading scheme, for example, you will need to make sure you don't put a D in, or else you'll get an error message. So it will let you know when you submit if you have any final grades in there that are incorrect when it matches it up with your department's grading scheme. So when you are finished putting your grades in, you will go ahead and click submit. By the way, you don't have to submit all the grades at once like you did with the old system. So if you're waiting on one particular student to get something turned in, you can go ahead, give everyone else their grades, click submit, and then come back later and fill in the grade for that other student. For both midterm and final grades, you'll receive a confirmation message at the top of the screen letting you know how many grades were successfully submitted and if there were any errors. And if there were errors for a particular student, you will see the error message right below that student's name. After submitting your grades, we do recommend clearing your browser history. And if you're not sure how to do that, there is a video in the Canvas Faculty Hub that will show you how to do this. I'll show you where it is in just a minute. And the only reason that we recommend that is because, as you can see, when you put a grade in, it kind of stores up all the grades that you've ever put into these fields here when you go trying to be helpful, but it's probably not necessarily helpful in this circumstance. And just to kind of give you a clean slate for each class and each semester that you're filling these in, we do recommend clearing your browser. After you have submitted your grades, we do recommend that you, again, go over to self-service. I'll show you how to get to self-service. Within your MyCCC portal quick launch, you will see a self-service icon that you will click on. I don't have access to self-service since I'm not an instructor, so I can't show you what that's going to look like, but you should click on this icon and it will take you to your grades, and just check and make sure that all the grades were sent over that you put in. If after you submit your grades, you realize that there is a grade that you need to change for whatever reason, you can come into Canvas and change it here as long as it is before 10 p.m. on the day that you submitted your grades. There is a report that is run at 10 p.m. that sends the grades over to the student information system, and after that, you would have to submit the same paperwork, go through the same procedure that you've always done if you have to change a grade. But before 10 p.m. on that same day, you can just easily come in to Canvas and make those changes through the Submit Grades tab. So I think that that is everything that we have to demonstrate for you today. Rose, was there anything else that you wanted to mention?
Yes. Some of you may have noticed when entering your grades, or when you go to enter your grades, that students who have withdrawn from your class might still be listed. You do not have to put any grades in there for them. They will get the W as is listed in self-service.
Okay, thank you. And I believe, are they still getting an error message for a student that is withdrawn? If they leave it blank, is it still giving them an error message or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, because it was doing that for a little while. So as you can see, this is sort of a process that, with any time a new system goes online, there's some bugs that need to be worked out. So if you do get any error messages, OIT is actually the one that has to fix them, but you can let us know also if you need to, and we'll have to loop OIT in so that they can make any changes or work out any bugs on their end that they need to do. One final thing that I know I forgot to mention here is you no longer have to submit a last date of attendance for students that receive an F. If you have a student who receives an F because of attendance, you will put an FA into the final grade column for that student, and that will indicate to the registrar and that the student has failed because of attendance. If they failed for other reason, their test scores or whatever, you would just put the regular F in there. So at this point, I'm going to open it up to any questions that you may have. If there's anything that you're wondering about that I didn't go over or that you need clarification on, feel free to type those questions into the chat. And while you're doing that, I do want to quickly show you how you will find, if you needed to watch the tutorial video on how to do this again once you're ready to do it, or if you need to find out how to clear your browser history, within the Canvas Faculty Hub, you'll click on the Resources button or on the modules. It'll both take you to the modules. And under Grades, you'll see Submitting Midterm and Final Grades through Canvas. There is a short video tutorial on how to do that. It goes over the same information that I just went over right now. And then you'll see this How to Clear Your Browser History video goes over Chrome, Edge, and Firefox and the process for clearing your browser history in those 3 browsers. So that video is there as well for you in the Canvas Faculty Hub. And by the way, if anybody is not enrolled in the Canvas Faculty Hub, you can always email me or email distancelearning@camdencc.edu, and I'll be happy to add you to the Canvas Faculty Hub.
All right, we have a question, Jenny.
Okay.
It says, since there is an FA grade for students failing for attendance, does that mean there is no more NA grade, which is also for not attending?
So there is still an NA grade, and it's I believe that it's at the instructor's discretion, or you may want to check with your department chair what the policy is for when you would give an FA and when you would give an NA. NA, I know, generally means that the student did attend at one point but then stopped attending. I think FA may have a more punitive effect on the student's GPA. But that is going to be at the department's discretion or at the instructor's discretion as whichever grade is appropriate in that situation. So that's something that would kind of depend on the case. But yes, NA is still a grade that will be accepted by the system.
All right, we have one more question.
Okay.
For the final grades, we put in a letter grade and not numerical grades. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So you'll be putting in a letter grade, not the numerical grade. And I did find out, if any of you are using the override column in your Canvas gradebook, that is not going to show up in the submit grades column. So if you had already, for this student, Stephanie, used the override column in the Canvas gradebook to give Stephanie a B, what you'll see show up here is going to be, let me get my final tab, is going to be still a C, because it's going by whatever the grading scheme is that you have in your course. And so you would still need to make that change here so that Stephanie gets that B submitted for her. All right, so that is everything that I have for you today. Again, we're here for you. If you have any questions, distancelearning@camdencc.edu. If you don't have any questions, have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon, and I will hang out here for another couple minutes in case there are any additional questions. All right, Rose, I'm not seeing any additional questions coming in, so I think we'll go ahead and close out. So thanks for your help, and have a great afternoon.
You too.
And
Bye.
Pet Penny or Leo or whoever that is.
Yeah, the Amazon guy's delivering something, so they're going nuts.
Well, good. I hope you got something good. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.